Hey you Stygian Dogs, if you happen to have picked up issue number 3 of Conan the Barbarian from Titan Comics and Heroic Signatures, you may have noticed on the back cover an advertisement for the official story of the film, Conan the Barbarian, from Titan Books and author John Walsh. I've had my eyes on it for a while now and was kind of just sitting on it when I noticed a price drop on Amazon, so I jumped at the chance to pick it up. I'll say this, it's abundantly clear that this video will not do the book justice. The jacket presents a simple front cover with the image from Renato Casaro's Conan movie poster, a blurb on the back referencing Robert E. Howard's iconic literary anti-hero, and the decades-long journey to the screen, and that this hardback celebrates 40 years of its release, telling the story of how the film was made, containing new interviews from cast and crew, behind-the-scenes photos, and concept art, giving fascinating insight into the development of one of the best-loved fantasy films of the 1980s. Underneath the jacket, we find the book bound in faux leather, the front and back covers adorned with a silver embossed sword, presumably the Atlantean blade, that being the sword we associate with the movie version of Conan, and we see similarly embossed text on the spine. After a few title pages, we come to the table of contents. We see a foreword by Raffaella De Laurentiis, followed by an introduction by John Walsh and chapters on development, casting, the shoot, Conan's world, and post-production. The book is closed out with acknowledgements. John Walsh's care of research is evident from the start, and his succinct prose draws you in, the only distraction being the sumptuous photographs and art. And while there are images aplenty, we are not left wanting for text. It's presented in a comfortably small font size, and in contrast to the larger page format, there really is a lot to read here. The book is not to be mistaken for just a pictorial telling of the making of the film. We get the story of Robert E. Howard's life, his writings, and Conan's place in all of it. We're presented with the history of the character's popularization via the comic books and the pastiche novelizations. There is a splendid section on Frank Frazetta's connection to the character, the artist's presentation perhaps responsible for concretizing the enduring popularity and visual presentation of Conan as a character. And man, the chance to own and scrutinize such nicely printed and fairly large-scale images is an absolute pleasure. And Frazetta is but one of the many artists explored in the book, as it moves through pre-production and poster design. Walsh brings us stories and images from Ron Cobb, William Stout, Renato Casaro, Japanese artist Sato, and also Boris Vallejo. All of the images just wonderful to behold. Stories on the casting, production design, and just so much, from the Wheel of Pain to the Tree of Woe, and again, so many vibrant photos. This is a book you'll come back to, taking in different info in different sequences, revisiting again and again. Opening pages at random, spending time with it, this is the kind of book that it is. Reading this, I was reminded of being a kid poring over my favorite printed encyclopedias and other nonfiction materials, books on pyramids, Pompeii, the Middle Ages, myths and legends, and in this mindset, I was delighted to discover John Walsh's connection to the animator Ray Harryhausen. He references Harryhausen early in the introduction, speaking of Howard's influence on the filmmaker, and Harryhausen's thoughts of adapting them in his cinematic stop-motion style. Just imagine what could have been. Walsh's connection to Ray Harryhausen sees him meeting the animator in the late 1980s as an 18-year-old film student, eventually working with Harryhausen to preserve his creations and recording commentaries for his films. Among many accomplishments, Walsh now serves as a trustee of the Ray and Diana Harryhausen Foundation and has written the book Harryhausen, The Lost Movies. I remember me and my brothers being allowed to stay up late one night at my father's urging to watch the Sinbad movies, and another time to watch Jason and the Argonauts. I remember my dad was really excited for us to see the skeleton battle. I guess it had an impact on him when he was younger too. This was probably viewed on TV Ontario's Magic Shadows with host Elwie Yost, and I was probably about 6 years old. I remember falling in love with Harryhausen's animation all over again with the Clash of the Titans movie. It's connections such as this that make this Conan book all the more magical. When you open the book and start to explore it, the pages demand to be touched, caressed, even as you try to resist the temptation to do so, fearing that you'll blemish them. I find that nowadays we don't often get the chance to peruse or feel a book such as this. It's something that many, even avid readers, just don't experience much anymore. So when you get the chance to read something like this, never mind own such a book, well, it kind of feels like a privilege. As soon as I started exploring the book, it brought me joy, and that was rewarding in itself. This is a book that will appeal to many, obviously fans of the film, the character of Conan, and Robert E. Howard will not be disappointed. but it has so much to offer film fans in general, never mind fans of the cast, Schwarzenegger and James Earl Jones, and fans of the era of filmmaking. It will have great appeal to fans of the sword and sorcery genre. I know I'm enthusiastic in my proselytizing about Conan the Barbarian, and while I knew John Walsh's book likely wasn't going to disappoint, I find myself more satisfied than I had anticipated. I hope you get a chance to check out Conan the Barbarian, the official story of the film by John Walsh, and I hope it brings you joy. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. I'll include some links on John Walsh and his works in the video description. Do check them out. And until next time, take it easy, you Stygian Dogs.